What's up, guys? Welcome back to Dear Traveler, the series where I discuss your awesome ideas, hopes, and wishes for Destiny. Before we start, remember to leave your own in the comments below for a chance to be featured in the next episode. Let's start off with a comment from Warriors who says, Dear Traveler, I'm thinking that maybe when you get your ship, you could have an unlockable ability, usable once per mission, outdoors only, to have your ship or shuttle make a strike or gun run along a target area. I think this sounds like quite an awesome idea personally, and it seems like it wouldn't be too difficult to implement, at least from what I can see. It doesn't seem like that would be too hard. You'd have to get like a target designator kind of thing, and it would be, like you said, something you'd unlock for your ship. And I imagine it probably would be kind of expensive. You probably wouldn't be able to unlock it right away. You'd have to work towards it a bit. But I think that sounds like a really, really cool idea. Next, a comment from Pamela who says, Dear Traveler, fishing and hunting. This is actually kind of a popular one. I see this coming up, or things related to this coming up quite often, and it seems pretty cool to me. I would like to see something like this. I mean, like in games like Skyrim, it's there, but it's not like a huge thing that gets in your way that you have to do. And I personally think that's probably how it would be in Destiny. Like, it's something you could do, if they were to implement it. I think they would do it in such a way where it's something you could do, and it might be fun to do. Maybe you can make a little money, or maybe you can get the food to eat, which might give you a bonus or something. But I don't think they would want to shove it in your face as something you would need to do. At least that's the way I see it. It would also be cool to be able to craft stuff from the things, from the animals you've hunted and such, and be able to make interesting items out of it that you can either use yourself or sell to people in the city or something. Continuing on, the next comment comes from Brent, who says a number of things. 1. Vehicle customizations, spaceship, hoverbike, etc. 2. Randomly generated dungeons, like in the Diablo 3 expansion Loot Run. 3. We have lots of planets. What about outer atmosphere and space scenes? 4. Rare or special ammunitions around the game to be used for different weapons would be awesome. 5. Customizable class abilities. 6. PS4 controller touchpad aiming function. Precise aiming like a mouse. Alright, so vehicle customization has been confirmed. Our spaceship can definitely be customized, and I believe other vehicles have been confirmed as well. Either way, it definitely sounds like everything we own can be customized in Destiny. And then the next one was randomly generated dungeons, like the Diablo 3 expansion. I haven't actually played Diablo 3, so I don't actually know about that, sorry. But randomly generated dungeons is an interesting idea. I think using their new tool, Grognok, they don't really need to use randomly generated dungeons, in a way. I mean, I think we can still get a lot of awesome explorable area that's all handcrafted, but they can make it really quickly. So, I mean, I think we can get the quality of a handcrafted level, and not just quality, but the uniqueness and just sort of dynamicness of a handcrafted level. But at the same time, using Grognok, they can make a lot more of them. So, although obviously it's not the same as randomly generated, because obviously randomly generated is different every single time, but I still think using Grognok will be able to have a lot of explorable areas, a lot of different, dungeon type places, without really overtaxing the Bungie team. Like, I think they'll be able to do quite a lot. And then for your next one, atmosphere and space, outer atmosphere and space things. We know that the rings of Saturn are like an explorable area. We don't know exactly how, but Bungie has referred to the rings of Saturn numerous times, and so I think that does kind of confirm, outer atmosphere space stuff. And a lot more of that will depend on whether or not we can fly our own spaceships, I think. If we can manually fly our spaceships, then I think there'll be a lot more happening in space. So I think a lot depends on that, and hopefully we can. We'll just have to see. After that, rare or special ammunitions. That has been mentioned in a previous Dear Traveler, I believe, and yes, it would definitely be pretty cool. I believe there would be different basic ammunition types that a lot of different guns would, be able to use, basic calibers and round sizes that could be used in a lot of different weapons, and I definitely think customizable or rare, not customizable, but rare ammunition would be pretty cool, and I think that's something we might see in Destiny. And then number 5 is customizable class abilities. Now, I'm honestly not sure how you customize an ability unless you can, maybe upgrading it, I guess. That might make sense if you can, I guess, when you level up or whatever, when you use the ability more and you kind of, get more experience with that ability, then you get more options of, upgrading certain aspects of it or something like that. I can see that working out. And I believe there was an interview with Urk, I think, where he made it sound like tweaking your abilities is possible. So, wouldn't be surprised if we see that. We'll have to wait and see, but again, would not be surprised at all. And then finally, number 6, PS4 controller touchpad aiming. I kind of doubt we'll be seeing that. It seems like the touchpad is not going to be big enough to aim on a full-size FPS screen like that. That seems quite difficult, but I'm not really sure. I mean, perhaps, but I honestly doubt we'd see that. I think the touchpad will probably be used for things like inventory, and it looks like we may have seen it in use already in the Guardian like armor customization screen, or not armor customization, but like there was a screen showing everything the Guardian was wearing, and then going into the weapon, the Thunderlord upgrade tree, the skill tree. The way the cursor was moving around there, that was obviously not with that didn't seem like it was with a thumbstick, because it was moving freely across the screen. It wasn't moving from one square to another, it was moving completely freely. So that does make it seem like it might be the touchpad in use. Next comment comes from Rory, who says, "Dear Traveler, pets, pets, pets. Customizable pets. Peaceful pets that stay in the city. Aggressive pets that you can tame in the wild that will attack enemies. Also, you could buy peaceful pets in the city and aggressive pets that you would tame in the wild." Pets is also a really popular one that I see all the time, and we have no idea if Destiny will support pets or not. We've seen one piece of concept art showing Guardian standing next to a space tiger, and then pretty much sometime around showing that piece of concept art, they also said that Tiger Man was the last time they tried to get a tiger in the game. So I think that basically ruled out the space tiger being a pet like everyone thought, which was quite unfortunate. That space tiger was pretty awesome. But that said, that doesn't mean we won't get any pets. Just because we're not getting any tiger pets doesn't mean we can't get any pets at all. I would certainly love to see pets, and different types of pets that we can customize would of course be awesome. Then the next comment comes from Jared, who says, "Dear Traveler, I would like..." Wait, is that a coffee machine? Alright, so that's our derpy comment for the day. And I just had some coffee not long ago, actually, and now I want some more. So I think after recording this, I'm going to go make myself some coffee. Thanks, Jared. Anyways, next comment. Michael Owen says, "Dear Traveler, capturing areas for your faction with your fire team. Say there's a small base in the open and there are enemies occupying it. When you capture it, your standing with your faction will increase, unlocking new faction exclusive things." Now, I personally thought this idea was pretty awesome, like sort of like a territories game type, but not really a game type, but like you said, open areas on the map where you would encounter enemy controlled areas or even neutral areas, and you could capture them, and then it could be sort of a game that goes back and forth where other factions are capturing them as well, and then it turns into a PvP war of trying to hold them and capture these areas. I think that would be really, really awesome, and we'll just have to see. We've seen faction wars is a thing, on the squad menu screen, so maybe faction wars would have something to do with that, something to do with territory control. We have no idea yet, but I certainly would love to see that in the game. Moving on, the next comment comes from Gobaya6, who says, "Dear Destiny updates, I want a tiger helmet in honor of the Tiger Man." Of course, we're all quite sad that Tiger Man was removed from the game. We can't play as the glorious Tiger Man, and a helmet to honor him and remember him by would certainly be quite cool. Watch them make that the Bungie exclusive thing, only Bungie employees can have. No, I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me if they did something like that, though, although finding it as like an Easter egg would be the coolest thing in my opinion. That would be really cool. The next one comes from the One Freeman. I doubt you're the One Freeman. I see a lot of Gordon Freemans on YouTube, just saying. Anyways, he says, "If this has been said before, my apologies, but dear Traveler, I wish that our ships could act as our home base. Our weapons or other finds could be displayed inside, and our fire team could join us in our fighter for tea and cake." Tea and cake, that sounds good. You could customize the paint, decals, and customize small cosmetic parts, such as propulsion types and such. Not to mention flying and landing and upgrading weapons and stuff, if dogfights are a component. Now, I believe this might have been mentioned before. I seem to remember, this sounds kind of familiar, although I don't know if other person went into such detail. But I just want to take a moment here to say, if I ever feature a comment that you left earlier, if I feature someone's comment and you already came up with that idea before, then I'm really sorry, but honestly, there's not much I can do about it. I get so many comments, it's hard to keep track of it all. and I just pick what I feel is best for that week. I just do it week by week. I can't keep track of it all, so if that ever happens, then I'm really sorry for that. One way to try and get around it is, like I always say in every episode, to repost your ideas. If you have a good idea that I haven't covered before, then feel free to repost it, and hopefully that'll kind of lessen like idea copying type things. But again, if that ever does happen, then I am sorry. There's just not much I can do about it. Anyways, to talk about his idea, this would be really cool. I think, in my opinion, a lot of it will depend on just how big of ships we can get. Like, our little fighters seem kind of small to be able to have fire teams and to be able to live in like that. I don't know, they seem a little bit small for that. But if we could upgrade them, I think that would be awesome. If we could get bigger vessels and such, and to be able to have your own little house in your spaceship, be able to invite your fire team, that all sounds really cool. And of course, we already know we can customize our ship on, presumably on the outside, so customizing the inside, if we could live in it, would be awesome as well. Now, this next comment from Christopher kind of builds on the last one. I think this may have been a reply to the last one. And he says, "Dear Traveler, it'd be awesome to have purchasable and upgradable homes and spaceships. Why not combine them? I imagine loading up the game, and instead of a menu, the Guardian will be in the ship. From there, could enter the hangar or head up to the controls and set out on a mission. Within the ship, there could be quarters, trophy rooms / armory, and of course, a mini hangar for land-based vehicles. Then we could have our homes everywhere we go, like the traveling heroes we are meant to be." Now, I think this is actually a really cool idea. Bungie has said that Destiny will have no main menu. Now, exactly what that means, I'm not sure. Like, I would imagine it could still have a start menu, like when you pop the disc in, it maybe would go to a splash screen that says play game or something like that. And then, or if they wanted to make it more epic, it could say like become legend or something cool. But anyways, I wouldn't be surprised if there was some kind of a start screen like that. But we're not going to have any main menu. Like, we're not going to have playlists and different activities we can access from a main menu. No, everything's going to happen in game. And I think starting at your ship like this could be a really cool way to do that. You could also do it like from your house, from the tower, anything like that. But the ship is kind of like a awesome middle ground where you can conveniently go anywhere, like you said. Like, you could go down to the hangar instantly, and then from there you can like go and talk to the people in, like, the head people in the tower, whatever like governing body there is. I don't know if it's like a council or whoever gives you your missions and stuff. You can go talk to them instantly, or if you want to go socialize in the tower, or if you want to go down to the city and socialize or buy things or whatever activities are in the city, you can immediately go do that. Or if you already have missions lined up, or besides having things lined up, things could be automatically like pushed to your console in the ship, like different perhaps like raids and strikes, different bounties, little missions that could be like automatically sent to your console within the ship to notify you of stuff you can do. Things like that you can instantly access. You can just go to your console, like see what you have available, and instantly go to one of those missions just on the spot. I think the ship does make kind of, like I said, an awesome middle ground where you can just instantly go do anything. And so that would be kind of awesome. And it would definitely be a very immersive main menu, to say the least. And of course, if we could, going off the same as the last comment, if we could do something like this, if we can explore the inside of our ships, then customizing it would be a big deal. Now, again, like I said in the last comment, I think this would depend on being able to buy larger spaceships. So far, the little scout class ships or little fighters that we've seen, I don't think those are big enough for something like this. They just doesn't seem like that could be, possible. But if we can get bigger, more awesome ships, then certainly this sounds awesome. Next is a comment from Vanity Blades, who says, "Dear Traveler, I want romance within our fire teams." Now, I can see people wanting romance, like, I can see that being in the game, but I don't know exactly what you mean by in our fire team, because fire teams are players. That's all players. It's a three-player team of your friends and stuff, so I don't think you can exactly romance live players. I don't think. That seems a bit awkward. So I don't think the fire team is exactly what you would say, but romance options in the game, certainly that would be interesting, and we'll just have to see if Bungie, wants to implement something like that. Obviously, some games do, some games don't, and Destiny does have a lot of RPG elements, so, would be a cool immersive feature. We just have to see. Continuing on, the next comment comes from the Dark Lord Evil, who says, "Dear Traveler, I know as a guardian of the last city, we are the good guys, but I'm curious to know how much freedom will we have to be somewhat of a rogue guardian? I mean, in the context similar to Mass Effect's Renegade option, wherein you are the good guy, but you're not by the book, and have questionable methods, but get results. Now that's actually a very interesting point. People have brought up wanting to be evil characters, multiple times, but Bungie has said that as Guardians we are heroes, like you said, and so we can't really be true evil, because we're always going to be heroes. But the whole Renegade option or Rogue option is definitely very interesting, has a lot of potential. And like you said, in Mass Effect, it works very well. It doesn't break the game there. You're still definitely a hero in Mass Effect, even if you go Renegade. And it gives a nice option to the players of how they want to play. So I would love to see something like that. And, not sure exactly if Bungie wants to go down that route. They've said that they don't want... that Destiny is not going to be a choose-your-own-adventure game. Like, they've said something about that. I remember that might be it. That's close to a quote. I don't know if it's word for word, but something about that. So I think certain types of choices, like actual dialogue choices and story choices, might be limited. Like the central story, I think, is going to be fairly linear. But again, a feature like that, a Renegade feature, does sound pretty cool. Another thing I can kind of add to that would be certain missions or like side quests that are less than, perfect. Like maybe to have you do something that overall, yeah, it still has for a good cause, but maybe you have to do some questionable things to get it done. I can definitely see side quests or even main missions forcing you to do questionable things at points. But that's it for this week's Dear Traveler. I didn't want it to get insanely long this time. I hope you guys enjoyed though. Remember, leave your own hopes, ideas, and wishes for Destiny in the comments below, even if that means reposting, so long as it's an original idea that I haven't talked about yet. And another thing to watch for is that it's well written. That definitely plays a big part. It's much easier and clearer to read off your comments if they're well written, so watch for that. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next update.